And she
circled the
The following is a paid program. Advice and opinions expressed during the program are solely that of Jung Garden Center, not WBEV 95X or Good Karma Brands. And we welcome in the good doctor, Dick Zondag from Jung Garden Center. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, John.
How's the trip over from
It
Randall?
was foggy.
Really?
Yeah,
Foggy?
there's a lot of fog out there right now.
Oh,
So
use your headlights.
Yeah.
For sure.
yeah, keep
so
your
what-
headlights on.
Now, we just heard a 60-second advertisement for Jung Garden Center, but I'm sure you must have a lot to add to that.
Oh yeah,
now.
we've got lots and lots of things. So we've got potatoes now. The potatoes are ready, and you can get them. And it's really a little bit early to cut them up. I usually tell people 10 days or a week to 10 days before you plant them. Good Friday is a little later this year, so maybe you'll want to get them in a little earlier. We also have our onion sets, and onion plants will be out very soon. The asparagus and rhubarb and those sorts of things are available, but I think it's a little early for those unless you're just coming one time. Of course, the seeds are really, we've had those out all season, and it's time to get them started if you're not going to buy the annuals and the vegetable plants from the garden center. Time to get the tomatoes and peppers and those sorts of things started. I brought some seed starting stuff last week, but we really didn't get it on the television. So this morning I brought some houseplants. We're having a houseplant sale this week with 25% off any of our houseplants that are available. It'll be this week only. So if you're looking for houseplants, we've got all sorts of houseplants in different sizes, from the bigger pots to the smaller 3-inch pots. So those are available. And of course, we've got gardening experts in the garden center that you can come in and talk gardening to anytime you'd like.
By the way, again, this is on Daily Dodge TV as well, as we're filming down in the video room. 885-4446, 1-920-885-4446 to get on board with Dig Zondag. We do have a caller waiting in the wings. So, without further ado, you're on the air with the Garden Doctor.
Morning.
Good morning.
Hey, I have a rose bush that we purchased from Jung's probably about, I'll say 6 or 8 years ago.
Okay.
Anyways, for last fall, earlier in the fall, there must be a root heading over towards our front step because it shot up a stalk there, and I would like to move that. When would be the best time to move that without these soils?
Yeah, the best time to move anything that's dormant is right after the ground thaws out, so that you can stick a shovel into the soil without mudding it in. It's usually around the first or second week in April. And what you want to do is dig as much of the root system with you as you can, and also take as much soil. Don't shake the soil off. Take as much of the soil with you as possible. Have the new hole dug so you can put the plant right in and transplant it. Put the new soil over top of it, water it in good, and then if you're transplanting something, water it maybe every other day if it's hot and dry. For about a week, and then just let it go.
Okay, great.
All right, thank you for your call. Appreciate it. 885-4446, 1-920-885-4446. As time allows now, as we wait another call, Dick, I don't think we've ever given like the address or where your other stores are more specifically.
Right. We have 3 stores in the Madison area. If you're driving into Madison, you go right by one on 151 at the very first Sun Prairie exit on Bristol Street, and that's our Sun Prairie store. And then we have a store on the north side of Madison on North Fork Drive. It's just after Warner Park. And then we have one on the south side of Madison on 151. You have to get off on I think it's CD.
Okay.
You have to get off quite a ways before you get there, because otherwise, if you go by it, you're out into Verona before you can turn around and come back. It's not real visible from the highway anymore. They kind of improved the highway, but put us behind the wall, so to speak. And then we have one on Highway 10 east of 51 in Stevens Point. And then the newest store is on West Hill Drive in Appleton, and it's right across from the Sam's Wholesale. So, and of course, Randolph, you can't miss that one. It's on Highway 73 on the south edge of Randolph.
Makes sense that you'd go on CD to get to a Jung seed place, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right, enough humor for now. Let's go to the phones. You're on the air with Dig Zondag, the Garden Doctor. Go ahead, you're on the air. Are there anybody there? Well, let's try the other line. Hi, you're on the air with the Garden Doctor, Dig Zondag.
Say, I got a couple questions
Sure.
for you. Is this a good time to fertilize your asparagus right now?
It's a good question. I think I would wait until the soil kind of opens up a little bit more. The problem being that if you fertilize right now and we get a lot of rain, there's going to be a lot of runoff. And, of course, fertilizers are soluble in water, and you don't want the runoff to take place. So I would say probably in 10 days to 2 weeks.
Okay.
When the soil is thawed, then I would go out. You can use a higher nitrogen fertilizer on asparagus than you can on your regular garden. You wouldn't want to use a high nitrogen fertilizer on your vegetable garden, but it works really well on the asparagus.
Would a triple 10 be all right?
That would be fine, yeah.
Okay. And then, what causes potatoes to get hollow spots in? I mean, I've been having a lot of problems the last couple of years with the Yukon Golds, and now this last year the Kennebecs did the same thing.
Yeah, Kennebec is one that has that problem a little bit. It comes from having long periods of dry weather and then periods of wet weather, and if they're uniformly moist all season long, that tends to do away with that particular problem. There's nothing wrong with the potato, but it's Kennebec is one of them that's kind of famous for that because it grows big potatoes. But keep the potatoes uniformly moist. So if we get into a prolonged dry spell, get out there with a little water and keep that plant moist, and that should help with that hollow potato.
I mean, it isn't nothing as far as fertilizing or anything like that.
No, it's not.
Okay.
No, but with potatoes too, you wanna give them a fertilizer that's not quite as high in nitrogen.
Right.
The triple 10, if you're going to use that on your potatoes or tomatoes or anything else, you want to go very sparingly because you don't want too much nitrogen. It tends to make a lot of tops, and then your potatoes are smaller.
Right.
So.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for your call. 885-4446, 1-920-885-4446. Again, we are on WBEV 1430 and streaming live on Daily Dodge TV. Let's go to our next caller. You're on the air with Dick Zondag, the Garden Doctor.
Good morning. I was wondering if I'm too late to order a Rosa Sharon bush. Remember my daughter? I want to send it up north to her godmother. I couldn't find any book in the fall.
Yeah,
and I put Jung's number up. Don't have it. So I was wondering if it's too early or too late.
We don't have the Rose of Sharon in our catalog. That plant is a little bit touchy as far as winter is concerned. We will have them potted in the garden centers, but they're not in the seed catalog.
Oh, because there's where I saw it the first time.
Yeah, we had them a couple of years ago.
Right, that's when I got mine. You could have bought two for something out of the catalog.
Right, and...
but you don't recommend ordering them and sending them? I suppose I could buy one and lug it up there.
Yeah, I think that's probably the best way to do that.
Yeah, well, Pack isn't that far away.
No.
Okay. What are they doing with onions? Oh, the skin is so tough, you have to peel down till you have it hardly any onion. And then I cooked it with pork chops. The pork chops was done, but the onions weren't. They're so tough.
Yeah, I don't know what would cause that.
So I was just wondering what kind of onions to buy. My daughter wants to plant some.
Yeah, the best ones for storing would be the Patterson hybrid, and they make very nice big onions. The Red Wing is also a good one, but it doesn't store as well as the Patterson.
She uses them up quite fast. So.
Yeah. So, and Candy, if you're using them fast, Candy is another one that makes very nice onions.
Okay.
Any one of those three.
Thank you much.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, we do have another caller on the line. Let's go to the phones. You're on the air with the Garden Doctor. Go ahead, you're on the air. And turn your radio down, please.
Yes, I've got some larger bare spots on my lawn.
Okay.
Is it okay to throw some seed down now?
Yes. The advantage to doing it now is that the soil is very moist and the seed will not germinate until the temperature of the soil is right. So what you want to do is wait until the weather gets a little drier so that you've got a little bit of dry soil on the top, but then throw the seed down, rake it in, and then tamp it down so that it comes in good contact with the soil. And if you've got large spots that are that are bare, you can put a little bit of straw over it to keep the seed from drying out once it starts to germinate. We also have a...
Wait a while yet?
I would wait until the soil dries out a little bit, because you want to rake some of that soil loose so that you can get it in good contact with the seed, but then cover it with some straw. Okay.
All right.
Now, there are, for smaller areas, there are seeds that are incorporated into a paper-type material that you throw that down, and once it gets wet, the paper makes sort of a mulch for it too. So with small spots, we have that type of a grass seed available also at Jung's.
Okay, real good. Thank you.
Yep.
Yes, thank you for your call. If people don't have straw, is there a good straw substitute?
Yeah, you can use almost anything. I mean, grass clippings even work well. Just something that shades the soil so when the sun comes out and the wind starts blowing, that it doesn't dry the soil out immediately, because the only thing that really kills grass seed is to have it start to germinate and then dry out.
Okay.
So,
all right. Let's go back to the phones. 885-4446 is the number. You're on the air with the Garden Doctor on WBEV and streaming live Daily Dodge TV. Go ahead.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I have large areas in my lawn that I have been told are a fungus. They look like crop circles almost.
Yep.
What is the best time of the year to treat that?
In the spring, there are fungicides that you can use on that type of a thing. Usually what happens there, do you live in a newer house?
No.
Okay.
Well, 30 years old.
Oh, yeah, that wouldn't be that then. But lots of times when you live in a newer house, construction people sometimes dig a hole and bury the wood in it, and then the wood starts decaying, and that causes the grass in that area to die.
Now, if I'm looking at it correctly, it's kind of a different kind of grass that comes up, and it's different texture.
Yeah, it's sort of a flat grass.
Right.
That kind of. Yeah, if you want to get rid of that, what you want to do is treat it with Roundup, that area, to kill it, and then get some bluegrass seed, and you could actually use the old grass to incorporate the seed, because that would act as a kind of a nurse crop too. But yeah, that type of grass, the only way you can make it into bluegrass is to kill the grass and then seed it with bluegrass.
They're pretty large areas.
Yeah.
Some are like 5-6 feet across.
Okay.
Can I do the fungicide treatment and then incorporate some other grass seed into it?
Yes, you can. Yep, that would be, the fungicide is not going to inhibit seed from germinating, so that might be another alternative too.
Okay, and how often should I do that?
The fungicide treatment once or twice is fine.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks for calling.
Thank you for your call. 885-4446-1920, 885-4446. So what is the pruning situation like by now? What should and shouldn't be pruned?
Anything really can be pruned right now. The only thing you really don't want to prune is any of the bushes or trees that blossom, because the blossoms are already set on them. And if you prune a lilac or a mock orange or anything that blossoms before the 1st of July, you're cutting your flowers off. But as far as fruit trees and things like that, now is a great time to do that before the new growth starts, because once the new growth starts, then you're going to sap energy and the trees will bleed a little bit more. So now is a great time to do your pruning for structure in your fruit trees, or if your hedges have overgrown, cut them back to a foot above the ground and fertilize them, and they'll come back like crazy. And by the end of summer, you'll have a nice hedge again. So, yeah, now is a great time for pruning, except those plants that you want to flower in spring.
Okay. What about the spraying regimen? Is that for later in the spring?
Yeah, the dormant spray is a spray that you use to kind of house clean both disease and insects out of the fruit trees, and that particular spray is an oil-based spray, and you spray the whole tree and the ground around the tree to kind of kill the spores that are there or the insect eggs that are there. And the thing that you got to remember is that you want 24 hours of above freezing temperatures so that the spray can be effective. Now, it isn't going to hurt anything if it goes below freezing all of a sudden, but it'll make the spray less effective. And, as far as the roses and things are concerned, I would say in another week to 10 days, it's time to uncover the roses so that they get a good start, and then prune them back to where the live wood is. It's usually green, brown wood down to where it's live, and then green from below that. And then you want to, if you've got a lot of growth left, you want to prune out the twigs that are less than a pencil in diameter, because you want nice strong buds for the roses to start growing from. I also went out and looked at my strawberries last night. Not really time to uncover them, but they're getting ready to go. So I would say probably another 2 to 3 weeks before you start uncovering your strawberries to kind of hold them back so that they don't blossom and then get frosted with a late frost. So a lot of stuff to do outside when it starts to dry out a little bit.
All right, you're listening to the Garden Doctor Show here on WBEV, and we're streaming live on Daily Dodge Television. And one line is open, 885-4446, if you have a question. Let's go to the phones. You're on the air with the Garden Doctor.
Hi. I bought a butterfly bush from you last year, and
Okay.
I'm not sure how to take care of it now.
What I would do is wait and see once, if you wanted to grow from where it is, I would just wait and see once if the wood is alive above, in the area. If you wanted to,
it got big and beautiful. I mean, it's huge,
Yeah, if you want it to stay smaller, you can cut it back to a foot above the ground, and it'll come back like crazy. A lot of times, the butterfly bushes tend to winter kill. The twigs and things like that are not as hardy. I refer to the butterfly bush as a woody perennial. It usually dies back, and then you just cut it back and start it over from a foot above the ground, and it'll be big in a hurry and blossom as nicely as it did last year.
Thank you so very much.
Yep, thank you for calling.
Thank you for your call. Let's go to the other line. You're on the air with Dick Zondag from Jung Garden Center.
Yes, could you tell me when is a good time to transplant roses?
As soon as the ground thaws and the excess moisture is moved through, before it really starts to get into full growth. And as I told the gentleman before, you dig down away from the bush a little ways and try to take as much of the soil with you as possible. Have the hole ready where you want to transplant it into so you don't have to dig it after you dig the other plant out. And then put good soil around the root system and water it in good, and then keep it moist for about a week to 10 days by watering it and fertilizing it. Roses are heavy feeders. They like to be fed, so getting some kind of fertilizer that you put in water. And then the systemic insecticide that I use on my garden, my rose garden, keeps the aphids from devouring the plant.
Okay, and when is a good time to transplant like your daffodils and stuff?
As soon as the leaves start to turn yellow, that means that the plant has enough carbohydrates back in the bulb. It's usually late June, early July when that's time to do that.
Okay. And we have newer apple trees.
Okay.
And for some reason, they're not producing.
Okay, how old are they?
About 4 years.
Okay. The Dick Zondag method of making apple trees blossom. What you want to do is somehow injure the vascular system, and you can either do that one of a couple of different ways.
This is a baseball bat story?
The baseball bat thing, or the iron pipe thing. You do this when your neighbors aren't watching, but you go out and around the base of the tree, you take a baseball bat or something hard and just hit the bark really hard. Because what that does is it crushes some of the connective tissue between the root system and the top, and puts the tree under a little bit of stress, and that will make it blossom like crazy next year. The other way you can do that is to take a carpet knife or a one-edged razor blade and about 1.5 feet off the ground, just go right into the bark and go about halfway around the tree. Now you want to make it a sharp incision, and you don't want to go back and try to do it a second time, because you don't want to remove any of the bark. But there again, you're disconnecting the root system from the top temporarily, and that will put the tree under a little bit of stress, and next spring it should blossom like crazy.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. It's also a good stress reliever to use the baseball bat.
Yeah,
isn't
it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for the people as well as the tree. Good morning. You're on The Garden Doctor with Dick Zondag from Jung Garden Center in Randolph.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I have some Milorganite,
Okay.
and I am not quite sure what that could be used on and how to apply it.
You have to read the bag. The Milorganite that's being produced now, it says you can use it on your garden, on your lawns. When we first started selling Milorganite, it had some heavy metals in it, and you could only use it on your lawn or your flower garden, but I think they've taken the heavy metals out of it now, and so if you read the bag, it will tell you that it can be used either on the vegetable garden or the flower garden. I was reading
Is that something that could be used on houseplants also?
Sure, yeah. It's
And just sprinkle it around in the soil?
I would mix it in with the dirt a little bit. Doesn't have a lot of nutrients in it, but it does have some, and it would help the houseplants.
Okay. Great. Okay, thank you so much.
You bet.
Thank you for your call. 885-4446. 1-920-885-4446. We have time for at least a couple more calls. Let's go back to the phones. You're on the air with the Garden Doctor.
Hi. I want to hear about the raspberries that are ground cover.
They tend to spread out rather than grow tall, and they're the same as the red raspberries that grow up. The canes that grow this summer will give you fruit next summer. I haven't planted them myself to see what they do, but the culture is the same as the red raspberries that are used, that grow canes that are tall and come out of the ground.
Okay. So if I put them in this spring, then I can expect raspberries next year.
Next year, right.
Okay.
Next summer.
Anything special about planting them this year?
No, the thing with raspberries is you have to plant them very shallow. You just basically get them in the ground, because if you plant them too deep, they die. We replace probably more raspberries than anything that we sell, because people tend to plant them too deep. And if you plant a raspberry or a birch tree is the same way. If you plant it 6 inches deeper than it wants to be, it usually doesn't grow. So you can usually see on the canes where the plant was dug, the depth that it was, and that's the depth that you want to plant it.
Okay.
Okay.
And how about fertilizing them?
A little bit of fertilizer. What I usually tell people is if the leaves are a nice dark green, the plant is happy. If the leaves are a little bit on the yellow side, that's when you want to fertilize them.
Okay, and usually just a basic 10-10-10?
Yeah, 10-10-10 is okay. You want to go a little bit light on a vegetable garden with 10-10-10. It's usually the most available of the fertilizers, but 10-10 tends to have too much available nitrogen for a garden. So if you use it in your garden be sure you use it quite lightly because it does promote a lot of top growth and sometimes to the detriment of the roots underneath or the vegetables that come out of the tops.
So you have to be very careful with it on asparagus.
No, asparagus you can use as much as you want. Well, not as much as you want, but you can use it a little heavier on asparagus because the thing that you eat is the vegetative part of the plant, which nitrogen is the thing that affects the vegetative part more than the fruiting part.
Very good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for your call. And we have time for one more quick call. You're on the air with Dig Zondag from Jung Garden Center.
Hi. I heard you mention earlier that your house plants are on sale.
Right.
And I just wanted to give you a plug that they are some of the nicest house plants I've seen. I haven't been there since last fall, and their variety is great.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah,
Thank you.
We try to have a good variety of things that will grow either in a real shady spot or some of them are sun-loving. But people in the garden center know which are which, and you tell them the conditions in your house, they can tell you which plants will do the best. So thank you for your comment.
You're welcome. Bye.
Bye.
All right, take care. And again, a lot is happening at the store, Dick.
Yeah, we're, as the lady said, we've got houseplants on sale for this week only at 25% off. We've got all of the seeds available now. We're bringing out the potatoes and the onion sets and the onion plants. Maybe a little bit early for them, but we do have a nice supply of them. The bare root will probably be opening the first week in April, so that's coming up quite soon. And we've got really good people that talk gardening. So, if you've got any gardening problems or any things that you need a hand with, any questions, you don't necessarily have to call me. You can talk to the people in our garden centers, and they really can help you out a lot.
All right, and your store hours, Dick.
Okay, the store hours in Randolph are 8 to 5 Monday through Friday, 8 to 4 on Saturday, and of course we're not open on Sunday in Randolph. The store hours in the Madison, 3 stores, and store in Stevens Point, 9 to 5 Monday through Friday, 9 to 6 on Saturday, and 10 to 4 on Sunday. In the Appleton stores, 10 to 5 on Monday through Friday, 9 to 4 on Saturday, and 10 to 4 on Sunday.
All right, as always, thank you for stopping over, Dick. We look forward to next week's visit.
Again, thank you, John.
All right, and the preceding program, a paid-for presentation. Advice and opinions expressed during the program are solely that of Jung Garden Center, not WBEV 95X or Good Karma Brand.